All right, I'll call our meeting to order. Today we'll just be discussing our agenda. I'm brain dead. We'll be discussing our budget and trying to come to grips with it. But as usual, we want to start with an opening prayer. Mr. Coleman.
Yes, let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for this day that you've given us. Thank you for your many blessings upon us and upon our community and our country. God, we ask today that you would give us the measure of wisdom that we need, Lord, to move our county in the right direction. And God, just help us to have understanding in these things. And we just ask that your hand continue to be upon us and to heal our community and our land, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Jody, you want to read us some prayer?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Budget workshop.
She won't get on. I'm hoping y'all have all the answers.
This budget's so like my farm budget has been hit too many times.
More hits are coming. Thank you, Linda.
The reason it's a little bit less is because I changed the building for the recreation from 200,000 to 150,000.
The new debt, that's the 292, that's for the air conditioning, is that right? Am I following that right? That's not for the new building, right?
I've got schools, 167,450, ambulance, trash truck, and
Okay,
fire.
that's all of that, okay.
Yeah, it's all, yeah.
But we haven't put in the potential 14 million.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Because that would be a lot bigger,
Right.
a lot larger.
Right.
About 3 cents worth. And you're saying in that's what?
It says schools, 167,450, and then ambulance, trash truck, and fire for 125,000.
100 and what?
25,000.
That's the
25.
payment. That's
Right,
the
that's
payment.
right.
So the 6 million project, fire truck and the ambulance is already in.
The debt payment for that.
It's already figured.
Yeah.
And the trash truck.
And the trash truck.
And the trash truck.
But we're still $500,000 in the hole.
Correct. And that's without going back and looking at revenues again, because
Yeah,
we did
that's
revenues
right.
before.
Mm-hmm.
What just happened?
The revenue, like the sales tax, we won't really have a good grasp on that for probably another month, will we?
We certainly won't know, what we've got in there right now is the number we got from the state, and they're meeting today, and who
Yeah.
knows what the revised number is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as our revenue comes in, I mean, people pay it, you have a month almost to pay it, and then we won't even see that. You know, it'll be another little bit before we got the number, so even knowing what our current revenue is, it's gonna be delayed a certain
Right.
amount.
And what's at the forefront of your mind is our cash flow, correct?
I'm watching cash flow.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, if I understood what the state's intending to do, they're going ahead and adopt their budgets, but they're holding all spending, no new spending. They'll address it in December or January. So they're holding it at basically the current year's
Correct.
budgetary
It's not a
numbers.
bad idea.
No.
It really isn't.
A lot of localities,
Yeah.
maybe going forward with projections and hoping, but not allocating any
I
money.
wonder how you could do that with budgets versus appropriations. If there was a way that you could budget a certain amount and then just appropriate the,
What you
Yeah,
need.
We set the
Hold it back.
appropriations.
Right, we do.
We could adopt a budget, whatever we settle on.
right,
And the tax rate or whatever.
And
But
appropriate.
as far as the appropriations,
some
then
of some
we
of the new
could,
projects, we could say, we're gonna delay that for 6 months and just see what,
right,
like the building, the rec building, for example.
right,
you know,
don't
say-
appropriate the funds for the first
Correct.
2 quarters. There's no funds in there for it, or whatever. You
Yeah.
could, you know,
Right.
we could
If our
basically,
cash flow starts dropping, then we've got,
if we don't appropriate it, they can't
Right.
spend it.
I'm
No matter
just
what's
saying,
in the budget.
we could budget something and then still not appropriate.
Right.
yeah.
Well,
That's
like
another
Approach.
Yeah,
You know, like we did on the Shell building
yeah.
Mhm.
they were 2.5 million set aside for that. It had been appropriated the year before. The next year, we left the 2.5 in there, we just didn't appropriate.
So we're $500,000, almost a little over $500,000 with a budget that's consistent with a 60-cent tax rate.
Correct.
But that does not include the school project,
Correct.
Uh,
the new, the
The
next.
new
The
14
next-
million.
Yeah,
new
that's right, the
14
next
million,
project.
correct.
It's covering the
Yeah,
heat and air.
Heating and air.
The project that's ongoing.
6 million.
Well, from Cindy's concern about the cash flow, I don't know that I'm in favor of delaying the collection of our taxes personally.
Well, we almost have
Yeah, at
to
this
be
point.
because we're too late
To set it
to set the rate.
by what?
I'll be late by
2 weeks? 1st of July?
To do the public hearing and everything, you'd have had to have already,
I understand that.
yeah,
The public hearing you could be having about right now.
right.
Right, next
We're a
week.
month behind.
Next week, so July 1.
I mean, I ran a cash flow for Terry, a very conservative one, and moved it out from to August 5th. And I included that we'd be getting all the money for the schools, all the things that are through the formula, ADM formula.
Right,
But I did not include getting anything for sales tax or anything else.
okay.
And assuming all our expenditures for those months were the same as they were for the previous year in those months. And we were 854,000 expenditures over revenues. But that was assuming no sales tax and assuming nothing for anything else. So I really think we'll have it through August 5th, but we will really be watching it.
Yeah. And we can cover that, that would be,
I mean, this was literally using every cent
right, yeah.
of cash we've got in the bank.
But some people will pay before August 5th.
If they got their notices before
Right.
then, I know a lot of people would pay before then.
Probably.
I agree.
I'd probably go ahead and pay just
Yeah.
because I wouldn't want to have it piled and then 3 months later
Have to have it, yeah, I will do
Well,
the
see,
same.
that's the concern that I've got, and I don't know if Steve ever decided, the way he talked, we couldn't move the December 5th one, so. I mean, we could, extend it to August 5th. Or he said we could zero the penalties and interest. We can't deny them, but we can zero them.
Well,
With the intention of zeroing them until August the 5th. That way then, anybody,
It seems to me like the easiest thing to do would be to go ahead and, once we got the budget finalized, go ahead and hold a public hearing and go ahead and send the tax notices out. And if they have 2 months to pay, then they have 2 months to pay. But it gives some people a break, but I think we're gonna see at least a trickle coming in that might.
It might even be more.
Yeah,
You're gonna have those that usually pays early
yeah.
that will come on.
Right,
Because normally we send it out like a month or 3 weeks beforehand, and they have.
We
3
would be
weeks to
getting
pay,
them
so
right at the beginning of May.
I would say that most people, there's gonna be a certain amount of people,
Yeah,
10,
there's
20% that are gonna get the bill and.
Pay it
they'll
immediately.
yeah.
a lot of people have done budgeted and
Yeah,
sort of
that's right,
saved
yeah.
it back.
Yeah, especially on fixed incomes.
Right, yeah.
Retirement incomes, Social Security, those folks know that these payments are coming due, they do it every year.
And there's some of us that just like to pay the bill when it gets there, that way you don't forget it.
Right.
I don't know anything
Yeah.
about that either.
I set it to the side, it's.
Yeah, if you said it to the side, I'm like,
No,
no.
I'm like, well,
I don't know what I
no.
got at the end.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I like to pay them when I have the money.
Yeah,
Before something else eats it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
To
like-
get
Or that's the way it is at our house.
514, that would be what, 3 cents,
2 3/4.
2 and 3
I
quarters.
just figured it out.
And that's without the 14 and a half, right?
Mhm.
Hmm. I figured 2.8, so me and you weren't too far off.
Well, as I said earlier, I cannot see, I just can't, in good conscience, raise taxes on my constituents in the Little River District. I've heard from some and they are not wild about it. A few were okay with it, but the majority that I talked with were not. And I'm also thinking about all the raises we have in the budget. There are a lot of people out of work right now in this county. And, you know, those who are here, I know how hard they are working, but I just don't know if it's the right time at the start to budget raises. And like I said, I'm looking at it from a very austerity budget times.
The only thing with the raises, I follow what you're thinking too. The only concern is if the state does go along with things that they've mentioned. I think we have to, if this board is going to continue to echo its previous procedures, then we're going to have to be cautious
Right.
of what we do if we're going to try to still continue on with making sure things are done in an equal perspective.
Equitably, yes.
If that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, because we've gotten behind in the past compared to.
The only thing that another thing considered, and Miss Cindy, if you would, just for the sake of the minutes, enter my statement, even though it's not
Right.
anything into any one agency we're talking about, but in addition to that would be maybe looking at the insurance things that we talked about, maybe.
Those are locked in now.
Those are locked in.
Did we already?
Done.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Sorry, I couldn't remember for sure.
85.
85%, yeah, we're in.
That's, I mean, again, that in the grand scheme of things, that's not,
Right, yeah.
if you're just really looking at trying to get back to a skeleton, that's the only reason I was thinking about
Yeah.
that. but-
Well, there's a lot of things in the budget we're gonna have to look at, and what was that final tally on the raises?
I was just,
169?
No.
I just pulled up, I've
You're
got,
doing that, okay.
I've got two different spreadsheets here. One was with 2 steps, that's where it's 514. If it were 1 step increase, it would be 472, 446.
Which is the difference of,
That's what I'm gonna.
6.
472.
So is the state potentially, I hadn't heard it, is the state talking about?
42,396.
see,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, in the grand scheme of things, it's,
I mean, we're.
But that's
we could
one
go
step, so
through-
what about no step?
If we were to take it in another step, it would be that much.
So 84,000, 85,000?
Do what?
So is the state talking about not doing the raises until halfway
don't
through
know.
the year?
I'm going off.
December.
Well, and see, they're not doing raises. I found out. They're doing a 2% bonus in December. It's my understanding.
Potentially.
Potential. And but then they're looking at next year doing a 3% raise. Well, they've already do that 2% bonus. We gotta cover all the other things that we have to cover. But next year, we're gonna automatically be,
Right.
in the hole.
If we were doing 0 steps, it would be 430.
So we're doing no increase.
No increase.
430, what's 514?
Yeah.
70.
Yeah, 430 is 0 steps, 472 is 1 step, and 514 is 2 steps.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to that.
So maybe one,
84,000.
maybe a compromise,
So
maybe a-
$84,000, which that's a big chunk of change.
As we're trying to cut it is,
But as a
Yeah, we-
state, sorry.
Well, I prefer we look at some other than, I mean, there's 150,000 in direct authority that everybody just has to live the way they're living right now,
And
whether they like it or
I
not.
think that's.
And both of them is
And we
assumed
hold that
that
off.
constitutional
That,
officers
I mean, I think we were go through and look at the big projects before we balance on the backs of our.
Right.
I understand,
One
I'm
of the
just
things you
kind
could
of,
do there is do the
You're
raise.
talking about setting the building off for
Right.
another year.
Yeah, or
That's what I
whatever.
was thinking.
what's that?
You know, we haven't had a building, so, big deal if we set it off for another year.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we go through and look at the big ticket items.
Yeah, agreed.
And look at them first.
Yeah, because that would bring it down.
Now,
Quite a
if we
bit.
get this to 0, we're still talking 3% to get it to 0, 3 cents to get it to 0.
Understood.
The problem I have, and I know we've all been thinking hard about this, and I've worried over this, as well as everybody here, I don't want to see us get in a position with, no, these are the things we're talking about, an ambulance, fire truck, schools, these are core services. And I understand we can go back, and I think we should, and look at these big ticket items, Mr. Booth, as you're saying, for sure. But if we don't, and then I hate the thoughts of a tax increase, but we still, at the same time, we have to be mindful that we have to move forward. We have to be mindful that we work diligently with the school board and trying to keep projects in mind. My fear is if we don't look at this reasonably and really consider this 3%, then we're not looking at a tax raise. Next year, we're looking at a tax hike. And I'm not all right with that.
Well, see, we're already, if we don't buy the fire truck and the ambulance this year, forget about redoing the box. If we don't buy a fire truck and ambulance this year, next year, we're looking at doing 2 of each.
And then we've washed away, in essence, everything that we've been trying to work toward. And then you're looking at what I consider tax hike. I mean, you're no longer staying operational or functional at that point, because it's covering an enormous hole. And it's
Well, most of the
concerning.
comments to me so far have not been toward the operational budget, but has been toward the school project. The ones that's talking to me is expecting us to go ahead with that project on time.
My fault.
I've had some parents say that that's something we've been working with and we need. It's got kids in school,
I would like to see that. I'd still like to trim on
Sure.
this as much as.
Oh,
we can.
yeah, oh, yeah.
What would happen if we followed kind of the state's lead and said, we'll do a step raise, but it'll happen in January?
Exactly.
And that way, we save half of that. That
Well,
might be a.
I'm not in favor of just passing anything and directly July 1 starting and going forward with it.
Right.
I would like to say, hey, these are placeholders in essence,
Yeah.
but we're not going to allocate or distribute, whatever the terminology is, any funding until, December or January. And see, yes, these are things that we're going to try, but we're still going to be mindful as this thing unfolds where we're
There's
headed.
so much unknown still. They're starting to get a grasp a little better, but.
And for the next budget, we may have to look, instead of doing 1 step, or we may have to do 2 in that budget, or 3 to get it where, I mean, that was the whole point of doing what we did last year. I know this came in place, and we didn't bring everybody up to where they were supposed to be in the system then, we couldn't. But the idea was to, like if this year do 2 steps, and then maybe next year be on 1 step. We may have to reverse that.
Well, to me, when I'm talking,
And I'll say this right now, I know the norm most of the time in this county, but history will show that in election year, you don't have tax hikes. But for my part, if that's what's necessary, that's what's necessary.
And for me, essential is what's not, and I can do without for the time being, is a rec building. Because we can function without that. That's not essential to day-to-day operations.
Quite honestly, I don't know, we don't know how long this is gonna go on. We might not even need it this
It
time
may,
of year. You
yeah,
know,
I mean,
God forbid, but you
baseball,
know.
that's right, so right off the bat, I'm in favor of taking that out to get down to really seeing where we're at and really trying to be good stewards of this 3 cents if that's what the majority of the board
That
proposes.
takes 150 off that number right there.
Yes, it does.
I mean, I wonder things like football this fall, how that's gonna, you know,
And
There
we
are
need
so
to-
many unknowns.
And we need to keep in mind, you know, some of the buildings in the Commerce Center, and that's predominantly based on grant money coming in.
Yes,
If it doesn't come in, there's a big chunk of change right there that doesn't have to be.
correct.
but that's loan, I mean, it's already been out on loan, so
I know.
we'd only be paying the payment there, it wouldn't be the
Right.
whole thing.
Wow. But there's some other expenses there that we're allowing for that.
I just don't want to see us next year, the year after, sitting at a table and being like, man, we should have went back and stayed moderately progressive and then be in a
Now we're
situation.
gonna do double digits.
But you know what?
Housing is-
On the other side of the coin, I don't want to be looking back in 2022 saying, what in the world were we thinking? If the economy,
When that-
Flatlines.
Next year, if everything loosens up, we may get it at a cheaper rate because people will be wanting business. They may be able to,
I wondered that about this, the school project.
Yeah.
Or what a 6-month delay on that would do as far as.
Right.
Yeah, see,
Not a long-term delay.
It's all going to depend on, let's see.
I've just heard from some contractors that say, we've got a lot of work right now,
Mhm.
but this
That we're
fall,
finishing
we're
up.
worried because
Right.
nobody's signed contracts right now. You know, and that's maybe
I've
the
heard a
time
lot
to
of
do it.
that in the residential
Yeah.
type. I don't know about the commercial market, what it's
what
doing.
else could you take off besides that?
I talked to one guy that
That
said,
was- I had
commercial,
removed it, I'm just-
with my brother-in-law, was an electrician.
So I didn't remove that?
I got
They're concerned because
369.
they're not good jobs right now.
360, I mean,
Nobody's
347.
everybody's afraid to.
So what do you do?
But they're, one thing they're
no,
watching.
you
is
haven't
that
taken one
interest
I
rate.
yet.
haven't taken it
Oh,
out.
yeah.
They're looking for it, and right before it bottoms out, that's when they're looking to give them their money to do these projects.
That's a place to start.
Yeah, I would go ahead and, I'm all for putting the, rec building on hold.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way we can do it.
Nope.
To be honest, I wonder about some of the other things in the rec budget, just
Yeah,
I
Yep.
support a lot of it, but
Put
it's
the rec
just,
budget back up.
even if, I guess what I've been thinking about, even if the governor gives the all clear and we go back to quote unquote normal,
June 10th.
is how many people are gonna want their kids running around in a big group? You know, I think our numbers will be down this fall.
How many adults are gonna be
Yeah.
willing to get out? I was talking to one person last night, they were talking about their parents and basically barricaded themselves. Even if the governor does open up the hair shops and that
Right.
stuff, they're not going.
Right.
Right.
So,
You know, there's a certain amount of people that are gonna try to be smart about it and realize it's still out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't
Well-
think that an assistant director is needed at this point in time either.
well, that's where I was going with either the assistant or the part-time, but really the,
Well, this year's budget, we have a part-time and a.
Yeah, I would just stay level with the director and the part-timer. That would be my
I think
thoughts.
so, and take whatever you got in there, and that'll affect the other numbers coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
because,
want to get into any programs or any more operational, just in case things do.
Yeah.
I won't go on down through the budget, but on that first line, I think I agree, drop the assistant for this coming year.
For this year.
And if we have to, we can address it later.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
Yep.
So I don't know what amount you got in that 85 for the assistant, but it'll come off.
I don't usually go to the salaries page.
right, yeah.
Well, no, I don't want you.
That might be
I'm just
something you
saying.
do at a later
I
date.
have
You
to
need
do that,
to know.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
need to know.
I'll make a note to do that.
Because that's not gonna be a huge amount, but that's gonna be
It's adding up
a
with
couple
the other.
of, 20, you know.
Time you add all of it up, it'll be a fairly chunk.
Are we starting a new, I was trying to remember, was there going to be a new, program this summer? Was it adult softball?
Yeah, it was gonna be adult softball and
I was thinking there was something else.
adult volleyball.
Was it in the summer?
No,
Adult softball's 500 and adult volleyball's 800.
yeah.
I'm just trying to remember when they were gonna, I
Well,
thought,
right down there at the bottom,
it used to be the adult volleyball was in the spring.
you got the All-Stars and you got,
Yeah, the All-Stars would be
adult
the-
softball.
All-Stars would be baseball and softball
Yeah,
for next year, but I just wondered about that adult softball. I think that was in July, which
it was.
may not,
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna come to,
I mean, even if it opens up, I don't know that those people gonna wanna form teams real quick and run out and play ball. Because it's not like the virus is gonna disappear in June.
No. I mean, I was one of the players.
It might be something to ask them about.
Yeah.
find out about that. If that was set up for July, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Might be a question to ask them. It's not much money, but if it's nickel and dime,
At this
Yeah.
point.
I mean, that's the way it works.
That's how we have to do it.
What are you getting?
We got some budgets where it's 500 here, 1,000 there, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden, hey, look at the bottom line, what happened there?
Yep.
We say 50 grand all of a sudden.
Yep.
So much of the rec budget though is springtime, and I hope my next spring work.
Yeah. So is it- Cindy, is it a good thing to think on that the 62,330 and the lines next to that, would it be about what we would be looking at if we go just with the full-time person, the director, and a part-timer? What the fiscal year 20 board approved relatively?
That would be about it, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Be pretty close to that.
Uh-huh.
Yep, so all of those columns down, we could, at least that gives us an idea.
Well, the insurance line will go up because of the premium.
Well, I've already got the insurance.
I know, but I'm just saying, we was talking about these others over here, and it won't match up perfectly, but it'll be.
It'll close
You wanna go
to my
back
calculator.
to page one,
Well,
start cutting?
Can we,
Andy, I'm sorry.
I think we was both at the same time.
I was gonna say, depending on what's planned, I'd almost take repair and maintenance to 10 instead of 14.
So just on the salary alone, you're talking $23,000, 23,320.
I think we could roughly say everything would be about 25 to 30,000.
25 to 30 savings,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's see where it is.
You could ballpark that number in so we can see what the bottom line is.
Yeah, take it down from, so what were you suggesting, from 14 to what?
10.
10? I'd almost say,
Well, the only reason I say that, I know that, like, he's been working on the base
Terry,
projects.
Terry might have some.
There you are. On the 14,000 for maintenance, up from 550 now 100. Would we be okay if we put that at 10, do you think, based on what you know?
8? 7, what did you say?
Zero.
0? I'll go to 75.
Maybe not quite that low.
I think there's gonna have to be some repair and maintenance, but then again, if we're having low participation and whatever, then some of that we might not have to be, jump on immediately.
So from reading this, it's, a lot of it has to do with getting the softball fields right.
And they've done, he's done a lot of that work
We're going to, yes.
with this year's budget. So I feel like we could probably, I mean, I'd cut it in half, go to 7. And then can't we reappropriate?
Well, it'd have to come out, it would have to come out of contingency.
Right. I mean, if something big were to happen.
Well, can we, before we start dwindling on one individual group, can we go back to some of the projects and look at those first before we start?
Start back, I mean, I was just mentioning while we was here, but,
Yeah.
you know, I don't have a problem.
I mean, I hate to get, some of these offices areas plumbed down if we can cut some other projects and then see where we're at.
Terry, so far we've talked about taking out the recreation building this year and not having an assistant director.
And leaving it as it is now. Part-time and a director.
Well, I'm uncomfortable with, we don't know. I mean, people may come out and been so cooped up in registration, maybe.
Right,
We don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And I would.
But also keep in mind,
It's
there's
half a year.
fees that are on the revenue side too. So if we cut like the softball money, for example, you need to go back and cut the revenue side as well. So some of those about equal out.
Yep.
We've had that discussion on the rec board before, and
Yep.
we're gonna balance the budget by cutting all this. Well, if you're not gonna have anybody sign up, then you're not gonna have any money to have any revenue.
They don't think about that part of it.
You know,
Yep.
works
Yin
both
and
ways.
yin and yang.
So where do you want to go? Justin?
I'm just sorry, what?
Yeah, I mean, we could.
There's still some.
I'm ready to trim everything. so.
Yeah, I am too.
Terry's gonna be doing some.
We are.
Like you say, you get paid, you just,
I just want to reiterate that we are in
Oh, yeah,
a
that's the code book. or the-
time we'll never,
On the online code.
we've never been before.
Well, we've been behind. so-
We've been behind for as long as I've been here.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we'd be behind another year, that'd be 9,000.
will you,
Well, I was, but I didn't see anything we hadn't already
Tell us
talked.
where we need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at, going through the highlighted things and
Right.
projects that we had that
So-
are unusual
So we're,
this year.
so the first one is on our sheriff's department?
Right, the new SRO, we don't have anything in there.
I would change it to black. We're gonna-
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it.
as much as we hate to lose it, I think Brian would understand that
Well, we wouldn't
one.
be losing anything, it's just not beneficial.
Just wouldn't be done this.
Correct.
We could always do that.
All right.
Should be a goal.
Yes, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Some of the big projects are all combined into that line,
Yep.
which then reduces the
Well, wait a
cost
minute.
this year.
Here's,
Yeah, we never did talk back about that.
I can't see that.
I'll have to, which one is that?
that's having an additional maintenance person.
Did we ever decide if that would save any, did we ever?
I really haven't had time.
Sure.
21.
Understand.
No, that's what.
I just don't think
It may be
that,
a hard thing to institute this year anyway. with-
Yeah,
with,
absolutely.
Some of the stuff that's going on.
Well, and didn't we have in here an addition for that?
We not, I don't think we've gotten that far. We talked about maybe
We didn't have
places.
anything about a building addition for the 2 maintenance people or anything? Or did we just discuss it?
I think we just
Discussed
discussed
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, I can't see how we can
Yeah, I'd say go back to,
just zero that out. That's my feeling.
No maintenance. I'd probably go back to one maintenance person.
Yes,
One.
one.
You should do it.
One.
I'm sorry.
I'd have to go to the salary page to take
Yeah,
that
yeah.
out.
Some of that you probably just take notes on too. We're not gonna solve the world.
We're gonna have to meet again.
well, it takes us back to, I mean, can't we do the same thing? with-
Yeah, with the rec,
It
go,
goes back to
20.
20.
yeah, go
Well,
back to
depending
the
on
20
if you
line.
did your,
Yeah, 4210.
if you had a raise.
There were raises.
With whatever raise, yeah.
But you'll
Yeah.
have to take that in down the line.
So 42.9, take out. I mean, that's what we'd leave in. It's interesting, I don't know why mine doesn't show 40. Was it
210
4210?
should be for the board approved currently, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Um,
Did you have that? We didn't have that SRO position.
It had zero
No.
amount in it.
There's several of them down the line there too.
Should I change that to one full-time and take off the yellow?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yep.
You gotta change some of the corresponding numbers below it a little bit too.
You had your notes to change that other one too. that we previously-
It'll do that on there.
Oh, okay.
Power of the computer. I watched the Andy Griffith show last night where Goober was getting a date based on a computer.
I bet that went well.
On that side.
He said he read a lot of books with comic books. They're getting the dedicated away.
All right.
But he could paint, he liked to paint. He painted the Red Barn last year.
Yeah. I worked for a contractor in the county one time that was hiring a painter. And when word, put word out, this guy applied, they called, yeah, I can paint. Put him in a house paint. Come to find out he was an artist, not a, I bet Terry would think hard enough she could guess who that was too.
Draw a mural.
Did you want me to go back up to recreation and take out the assistant director?
Yeah. Or I think that's what we just.
Yes.
It's just kind of sad. We've worked, I know this is the way it works, but we've worked for a long time on building up our reserves, and it finally felt like we got to a point that we could do a few things, and then something else hits.
Yeah.
Well, this is uncharted territory.
No, I get it. I mean, I understand. I'm just saying it's a
I know,
bad situation.
it is.
But I would rather be in this situation with the fund balance we built up than what we
Nah.
were
Been
several
going
years
forward.
ago.
Whole four.
Since we're in this situation, I'm glad we're in the financial.
Yeah.
Right, that's what, yeah.
That's what it is. Boy, you imagine when we first got elected, if we had something like this come on,
Oh, yeah.
we'd been up a creek.
Like,
We'd-
I still have a couple I had questions about.
This is that emergency we always talk about when
Yeah.
we're doing our budget.
Yep,
What page you on?
21.
and what?
All the two projects down below.
Yeah, are those
Started doing that.
coming out of our funding or are they, is that something else?
Which one are you looking at?
On page 21, general properties, 8130 and 8133.
Yeah, I mean,
What was your question?
Where was the money coming from?
For the deck back
Mhm.
here?
Yeah.
The parking lot?
Yeah.
yeah,
Out of general fund money.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, we did a little bit of repair last year on the library parking lot just to try to get it prepared for the paving this year.
Mhm.
Yeah. You all could take the porch out again. I mean,
Yeah, the porch doesn't worry me as much as the parking lot. The parking lot
the
is,
parking lot's really bad.
it's got several issues. There's tripping hazards and then the water pooling down below, especially in the winter when it gets icy.
Freezes in the winter.
That's,
Somebody coming out
the
through
fact
there.
Yeah.
that we've known about it a couple of years, I
And
really.
plus you got that walking trail that comes out there.
It's a dangerous spot. I mean,
Sure is.
I just worry about that. We know that there's a major problem. We've worked on it some, and then if we don't address it, that,
The
at some
liability.
point, the liability comes in.
Yep, liability.
And you want to just have a nice,
Yeah.
you want to.
We can always rope the porch off and keep people off of it.
Right, we have another
Parking
option.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Lock the door and take your steps down, and then won't be a
There you
problem.
go.
Put a ladder up back.
Or you can volunteer to
Don't even put a
build.
ladder up.
Or you can
Hang
volunteer.
a rope ladder out the window.
Yeah, we could
I think you
give
take
up
that
the
one
mark
out,
and
Cindy.
have that as a.
Yeah, I would take that.
5,000 out. But I don't know about the parking lot.
Well, could that be a project that you talk to Doug over at the high school about?
To put asphalt on?
Paving?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
You mean
could go to
Ross.
those.
Jump,
Ross.
I'm slow, but.
Ross.
No, I'm
Ross.
talking about
Maybe.
as a project.
Yeah, for Ross.
We could, it's just, they have so many projects.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's slow going, you know, we only got an hour or so
Payment,
working
they could
there.
go to those and buy that in the bag. Get the kids stamped it in.
Funny. Little levity,
Tough.
little levity.
Hang on to the rail when you come up, that's all I can tell you.
Gotta laugh so don't cry.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you all take out the, up under your budget, the municipal code updates? Did y'all take that out?
A couple of us talked about it, but we
We
didn't
talked
talk
about
about
it.
it.
I heard you discussing it, I mean, you took that out.
Really? That's one
I
that's
made this.
been needed to be done for a long time. It's not a necessity.
Not an emergency.
Yeah.
All right. I'm for, well, one vote here.
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody else?
What's that?
Unicode?
Update,
It's all online.
it's been behind. Reagan hurt me, well, it hurt being behind another year.
Never been updated.
Oh, it's never been
Thank you.
updated? One more year,
Paul's
that'll make a difference, I
Yeah.
think.
You got 3.
Oh, man.
Sheesh.
Well, we could go back to our old salaries.
Yep.
We've done it before.
I mean, really, the big ticket items is the fire truck, trash truck, and ambulance.
You then decided we'd better do them, so we don't have to do 2 next year.
I guess with the loan, that's,
Well, the changes you've made so far brought you down to 272, almost 273, so you've made some headway,
Still some highlights on
and
20.
there's still some highlights.
And that's with our 3 cents.
Which is Thomas Department, Phase 2 pre-construction.
can we pay for that out of
What is
loan?
that right here?
I'd asked that before, though.
That's a 170 set aside.
The loan that we got for EDA, that now we have some grant money to cover part of that.
3.5.
Yeah. Can't we pay for that 170 out of that loan? Because we've got some flexibility within that loan. We're not gonna need, if we get all the grants, we're not gonna need it.
That's different money in it, the 170.
When I'd asked Ladina about it at one of our other meetings, she said that she thought our loan was flexible enough to be able to cover that. That 170 is for the Phase 2 road development, I think, right? But our loan that we took out was for developing Commerce Park. I thought she said it was more than just a building that we could use it for.
Sounds right.
I just wondered if we do get the grants that we're going to get, we may potentially be able to use the loan for that 170, which would then,
Right.
we're already paying for the loan in this budget, we're making the payment on the loan, and if we just withdrew that, that would save us 170.
Yeah. That'd bring us down to almost 102.
I mean, I don't want to cut that, I just, we might get creative about the way we,
How we fund it.
how we fund it,
Yeah.
and pay for it over a period of time, because it's not like it's not gonna,
Well, she's
He's probably
saying in
not
this
gonna
that
have
it's
them this year.
shown as both revenue and expenditure, so it's coming off some.
the 170 is?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Wonder if she, for that, 'cause I thought we had a certain amount we had to pay ourselves out of it, out of pocket for some of the
That was 150
For the grant
administration fee.
Yeah.
Good try.
I don't see the 170 on the revenue side. Here back in fiscal year 20, we had 170,
Yeah,
but we don't have any this year.
whoops.
Maybe we're showing the expenditure but not the revenue?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
I'll take it any way it comes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe, because we didn't do, maybe we just didn't carry it over. Could that be possible?
She says it's exactly as shown last year.
Think we
Must
might
not
not
have
put
it.
that 170 in revenue and then take the green off the expenditure?
I'll take that too.
I'll take it too, yeah.
Works for me if it's right.
Yeah.
That should make a big difference right there.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Did fine, Lauren.
All right, I'm done for the day. I'm gonna skip another meeting.
Down to 102, we're really getting there now.
Yep.
Less than a penny.
Jerry's still thinking in terms of tax increase.
You darn right I am.
I'm thinking tax decrease here now.
That's what I'm thinking too.
You remember I'm
Well, I'm
showing
just
it
saying,
at
we're within a
60
penny of
I know.
budget.
Yeah, I know,
We're within a
Yeah,
penny of
well.
balancing.
but that's not balancing with the school project.
Right.
Well, I understand that.
The school project will add another 3 cents to this, right?
Well, that's
The
the
new
3
project.
cents that's in there, yeah.
Well,
I'm
see,
showing it at 60 cents.
I understand that, but you're not showing the.
we're not showing the 14 million debt
I know,
service
are
in
we?
this, are we?
We're showing, I want to say the 7.5 million because we've already
Incurred.
incurred that, but we're not showing the other 7 million because we haven't done it yet.
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense. The air conditioning project's in here, though.
Correct.
The new potential building is.
Isn't in here, nor is the renovation project in here.
Right.
Right.
And I talked with David Rose this morning, just to see if he had any update from when he was here last time. He said no updates other than given how the banks are inundated. We are planning to be presenting at your June meeting. The RFPs will go out with 4 weeks review process prior. We're targeting that distribution on May 5th with responses due June 3rd. So we can review and possibly negotiate and or clarify and coordinate with you all on the board.
So no matter what we do as far as bidding the job, if we take on the loans, we're gonna make payments on that whether or not the project is happening right then.
Correct.
I mean, it would have to be in this budget, whatever that payment's gonna be.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes they'll set it up to where you don't start any payments
Defer.
until you start drawing down the major
Right, and
amount,
defer.
percentage.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's still, yeah, we'll need.
But it's still be
whatever that is
within,
into this budget.
still be under this budget.
Mhm.
That's what,
Yeah, so no matter if
whether it's July or whether it's
next July.
whatever,
December,
it's still gonna have to
If
be
it's
in
in
this
this budget,
budget.
yeah.
July.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you, what scares me about this budget is just like sales tax, projected sales tax.
Yeah.
numbers. I mean, you could come in and be a couple $100,000 short again because they're projecting a drop.
Well, see, the other thing, I don't know how the state's gonna do it. They're talking about they're withholding any new monies. Well, does that apply to the sales tax as well? If you were supposed to have gotten, if you were, say, you're supposed to have gotten an increase in the sales tax money, are they still holding that? So you don't know what they're gonna do till the end of the day today, if they get done today.
Man, oh man. Of those consumption taxes, are the 0102, is that the consumer utility tax and the mobile phone tax? That's pretty much, is that gonna go up or down from revenues?
Which line are you looking at?
On consumption taxes under local sales tax? Those will be set revenues, right? they've been across the board. Just looking at revenues.
Yeah.
Okay. So the local sales tax is our wild card.
Yeah.
Any other wild cards?
Meals tax,
Meals.
lodging.
Yeah, I know, lodging, meal, yeah, tots and meals.
Local sales tax.
What about
Which
motor
one?
vehicle? License taxes.
I think I would stay about the same.
Okay, okay.
The one thing with sales, you know, I do wonder about how much we're gonna be impacted versus a place that has a mall or something. You know, like right here, I would think we're buying mostly essentials. I mean, there's not that many luxury items that are being sold in Floyd, I would think. I don't know, but people still gotta eat. They're probably buying more food now. I know that's not a big sales tax, but.
Yeah, food is,
But they're now buying food at the grocery store instead of at the restaurants. I mean, sales tax might not be as,
but then we take the
Well,
hit on the
that-
meals tax.
Right.
There's a lot of projects getting completed at home too during this time.
a lot of stuff being
Building
bought online
supplies.
too.
Well,
Yeah, a lot,
that's true too.
lot being bought online.
That's
You
true
know, the
too.
stuff that we used to get at Walmart now comes in UPS truck.
Well, I'm talking about more about building supplies, but
And there's dairies staying,
maybe some.
they're
raised
busier now than
boxes.
they had been, you know, but
You know,
A lot of gardens being planted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just changing. It's gonna be interesting to see how, some people, and I talked to a couple
I know.
places that say they're busier than ever because people are at home and they need something to do.
I've heard
So,
that.
so in terms
Fence
of,
posts, you know, 'cause they're all building fence.
yeah, so in terms of recreation fees, we've already lost baseball, softball,
Current year.
current year.
We haven't lost anything.
We haven't lost anything yet, maybe.
I don't know.
So that's only 45,000. Last year was 40,
But that's also fees that weren't paid out.
right?
A lot of that stuff balances out, so if you don't play softball,
Right.
you don't pay officials.
Right,
so
right.
It's not a huge amount. There.
That's where he's been able to do some of the maintenance
Right.
things that we have.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to pay out.
Oh, you're on the grid.
Yeah, I was just looking there.
Yeah.
We can go back. I mean, I don't know.
You go to.
We're all over the map here.
Emergency medical services, I can submit a question.
What page is that, Jerry?
That's page 30.
Again, I apologize in advance for our listeners, but we've got a lot of paper that we're
Having to move.
looking through and having to move, so. Alright.
What were you looking at, Jerry?
There on page 30, the new landlines.
Well, that's part of the loan that
I
you're covering.
know, that's why I was wanting to verify that 190,000, the debt service on that 190,000 is what's in that
And
200.
that, yeah.
Why don't you take the yellow off that?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
Yes.
The one thing I have wondered about is all our gas costs, fuel costs throughout. I mean,
Wondering about that, as cheap as it is.
I paid $1.29 today.
Down in North Carolina?
In Woolwine.
Oh, yeah.
I sat, Chelsea was riding with me, and she went in with $18 to fill up a 15-gallon tank, and I had to go back and get change because I didn't quite use it all. I've never filled my truck up for less than 40, you know?
Yeah.
Usually takes me $63 to $70 to fill this truck
Yeah.
up out here. And while ago, I paid $1.72. I filled it up for half of what I usually.
Oh, yeah, it just keeps, I don't know.
It's gonna hurt when it goes down.
But I tried to order fuel for delivered, and it was still higher than the pump, you know, so I don't know, some of it's gonna be some interesting
I
times.
bought some off-road diesel yesterday, $1.79.
Yeah.
And it came down from like $2.40 something.
Right. I don't know how much you play into that, because at some point it's gonna go back up.
You know, it'd be
You
good
may
to
be able to
have
do
fill
a
up
trip
all our
ride.
tanks.
I guess on that environmental fund, you can take the yellow off that trash truck if the debt service for it's in that other one too, can't you?
I just wonder if we go through and trim tile 10% off all our fuel and everything, because you know it's gonna be at least, probably for the summer it's gonna be cheap. There's no way it's going through the roof again that quick.
On the sheriff's vehicle, I think I
We're
saw
talking
where
about
there was
crude
one
oil
or two
selling
turns.
in a negative for the
Are those
first
gonna
time.
be, are those intended to be
Well,
bought
they were-
outright, or are
They
they
were
gonna
paying
be lease
people to take
purchase?
it.
They're leasing.
They lease purchase.
Lease, that's a straight lease, isn't it? Every little thing, that's what it was.
But you know, the buses, there's not as many buses running, so that's gonna help them on theirs.
I don't know how the school budget is gonna be impacted. It's probably like everything else, some things will go up and some will go down.
Well, see, all what I'm worried about, I wasn't asking for any new money in local funds, I don't think.
Right.
But they were counting on those state
Oh, yeah,
monies
state.
coming in to do it. They're not coming in, so what's gonna be the impact there?
It's not letting me save the spreadsheet, it says compatibility mode.
Okay, what's that? That's in addition to maintenance building,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, what is that?
That was the.
Lean-to.
Oh, the
Got a
lean-to.
lean-to on the
Yeah.
side for the new truck.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
what would tarp cost compared to the lean-to?
You get a huge one for about $250.
And they last 1 year.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I put one up the other day and it lasted 3 days, that high wind. It caught one corner and by the time I got around to it, it done shredded it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I guess I got to build something a little more.
I had a hay tarp, that was one of those
Yeah,
expensive ones,
yeah.
legitimate. hay
1
tarp.
year.
And I had that thing tied down, I was like, man, it even looked good.
Yeah.
Spring year had pairs.
1 year.
I think it's as much as this,
The
just
sun.
being exposed.
Yeah, it's the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the military, they down, I have my tires tied down, so it'd be good.
I guess if we had to, we could
I'll tell you what,
Once-
Pick out what?
Once one island started,
Roof repair.
that's it.
And that shed too.
the other day.
The
was
roof
first time
repair,
they
you
ever
really
did
think we can
buy.
take that out?
Well, it's the same roof that's been on there since 1973.
Keep telling my wife that about our house roof. She didn't like it when it leaks when it rains, so.
You know, I was hoping to have enough money, because we have another option as to how to repair that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's about a third of that cost. But I was hoping we'd be able to do in this budget year, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it or not.
But you're saying you could do it with a third?
If I can do it out of this year's money. If I
Ah.
have any left.
If we had any left.
Right.
That's what I was hoping to do.
Can we leave 5,000 there and buy buckets of tar and caulking guns and caulking?
We've been doing that already, but, you know, like I say,
Yeah, I'm trying to get 30 years out of my 30-year shingles.
so, I mean,
I'm on year 27.
that can come
Usually don't work
out.
quite
Pretty
good.
good, I got 30-some years on 15 years.
Oh, and you're up on a hill where the wind blows.
Yeah, how does that
It
happen?
involves some blue tarps here and there along the ways, but
It's not a big deal, but.
I got to the point
It's a
where
big
now I got the
person
45-year
speaking.
architectural,
And
I don't ever have to worry about it again.
For my mind, is that a bigger deal?
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Parking lot.
It's not a liability issue as much as.
Correct.
I'd say take it out.
Parking lot, I mean, that's an
I'd
easy
say
parking
take
lot's
it out.
great too. I mean, if you look at it.
What, do you want us to leave a third of it there to just in case, or? For
we can
now,
do the other part, just do the other option, is that what you're saying? That'd be great.
what do you
So a
think?
third of that would be,
I think it was
21,
23 something is what the quote was. I
Should we
think.
25 in there?
24 and then
25.
5 and
25.
yeah, 25.
Take out that addition too.
Is that for the new truck that we just got?
I've wondered about I'm not looking at the electoral board, I just wonder how, some of the election stuff is,
It's gonna go up.
I wonder
That's what I
about
thought.
Yeah, I don't know how we can really cut it. It's gonna go up and it's by law.
See, those are the things that make me uncomfortable, even with the wreck and all. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen.
I know,
We
but
can-
the electoral board, that's gonna be, I mean, those are unfunded
Well-
mandates that tell us you have to do it this way. So we'll have to find the money. Now, what about the repair ditch? That has to be done,
No
right?
rush, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's
I don't
dangerous.
think they're gonna give it.
DEQ.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't think they're gonna get us
DEQ. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're gonna be down to
47,986.
We
Got the
still
parking
have quite
lot.
a few highlights
Yeah.
in the,
Yeah, we do.
this area.
That's the last page that I have. It's got highlights.
Yep. Is that 20?
The trash trucks in the one is still yellow and the environmental that needs to be. You already done
I
that?
thought I did.
I'm almost looking at some of these that we don't have highlighted. Too.
Yeah, I'll look through there.
Well, I know the college ones, they're formula driven, aren't they? A lot of them.
Community
Like
college,
Community college.
it
Right.
is.
What about, lost it, the community action. Is that on a formula as well?
But right now, they're doing so much for
Well,
so
I
many
know
of our
they are.
citizens.
I know, but I'm just.
Yeah, I get it. What about the PSA board compensation mileage? I mean, is that just for the two members here?
Yes.
And so if we were to
I
take
haven't done
mileage out,
mileage either.
I've never done mileage.
It also pays the stipend. We call it mileage, but it also.
Right,
pays-
but we could do that, I mean, for 12, what do we got, 12 months?
0.
I mean, I'd take one for the team, but that's 36. I mean, how many other boards do we get paid on?
Planning commission.
So we haven't met.
But that's, so that's 1020 and we got 1,300 there.
I really feel like we need to pay the EDA board, but we've never done that.
Right.
Because they work
Mm-hmm.
tirelessly.
They do.
They put in lots of time.
But does that also covers, one other number, doesn't it? That we-
It's, covers 3.5
3.5,
people.
yeah.
3.5, okay.
Yeah, it's not just.
Yeah,
two
it's not just
for us.
me and you.
All right, yeah,
I
okay.
think we had that conversation last year.
I know,
maybe
I'm
the year
trying,
before.
I'm trying.
No, I'm just trying to go on what I remember.
Yeah,
And it looks like it was cut from 19 to 20, which was probably taking out the mileage we took, you and I were.
that you were saying
talking
we
about
didn't
anyway.
use.
What about 60-55 on that page?
Which one? 55?
Yeah. Is that,
Half of that's your contribution and the other half is a match or
Okay.
grant from
for some reason I didn't
the
understand.
state.
So we could potentially go back to 5,000, what it was.
Good.
Is that gonna affect anything on the match side?
Or we would just use that for the match. Then you all
I think-
would be. given
All right, there was always
contribution.
5, we needed 5 to match.
Right.
For the matching money.
Right.
I think it's 4,500. The state reduced it
I'd
years
rather
ago.
do something like that than
Yeah.
community action.
Oh, absolutely.
I just meant, I was.
Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm sorry. That was not.
We're all, yeah, we are all.
I mean, that's not.
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
Would you
essential.
know offhand which one of these are formula related versus the ones that are not?
Under the community programs?
Yeah.
Yes,
Maybe,
you can do the numbers.
or if you know which ones for sure are.
Onward is based on per capita.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang on just a second.
Well, do pretty good on reducing their regional jail one. Nobody's going out of their house.
Our
Nobody's going-
population's dropping, so.
Yeah.
I think everything else
we're
is just,
down.
everything else is just donations. I'm not-
All right.
Excuse me just a second.
Back on the arts, we show getting 4,500 because they have to funnel
Oh,
the
that
money through
includes-
us.
The
Oh,
9,000 is, half of that's the grant.
Correct.
oh, okay,
Yeah, it
So
comes
we
to
need to.
us.
We need to leave it
away.
there.
Or
Yeah.
cut it all the way, yeah. once we-
right,
So that 9,000 shows 4,500.
coming in, right.
The 45.
And then the 4,500 we're given,
Yeah.
okay.
Good try.
Yeah,
Send it back on ours, on your travels, meals and runs. Is that like when we all go to bed? I'm not, homestead. I'm not planning on going this year. You know, if we could figure out who all's going, maybe it would cut that.
I ain't going. I'm not going.
I have to go because I'm chair of the committee, so.
Yeah, and I serve on the committee and on the BACO board of
and I
directors.
serve on committees too.
She's on the committee that plans the event.
Yeah.
That's the amount they do, is 3, that's what that equals.
Yeah.
Although they haven't really
It's
called
crazy because
us.
VACO should pay for it once they require you to be there.
Yeah,
I haven't got that far along because the council do normal meeting.
right,
So I don't know,
It's cancel spring meeting.
Yeah.
not away.
Yep.
And more than likely, I can't see them still.
still doing the August.
August one in Richmond.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll do a Zoom meeting or something.
Well,
Because all the
Maybe.
committees have to meet.
Well,
They
that's
do.
what's been talked about, is doing a call-in or Zoom.
Aren't we
or
supposed to
whatever.
go fishing?
Yeah, that's the reason I had signed up for a lot of them committees, because you have to travel,
Right,
halfway across the state.
And that's why a lot of people from this other state don't sign up.
But
And that's-
it's, yeah, then we
Yeah,
don't
I'm
get,
on the
So then you end up
transportation
with just
committee
the
as well.
Fairfaxes and Richmonds.
Correct.
going
Right.
Yeah.
and then it's kind
Your
of
policy
unfair.
that are-
I say, I'm on the transportation committee as well, on the BACO committee, so.
Yeah,
You know, if they could meet in Roanoke every now and then.
it'd be nice.
They
Last
do-
year they were in Worth County, that was nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was in with one. We had, I hadn't heard anything about any district meetings either, you know, like you and I went to
Right.
down in Pennsylvania, they,
And ours last year in Martinsville.
yeah, they
Yeah, I
just.
bailed on that one, I'm sorry.
Well, I wanted them to come this way, that's what the talk was, but I don't know that we're gonna have those either.
Well, I noticed they was gonna have the spring meeting in Nottaway where the chairman's.
They always have it at chair.
Yeah.
Spring
The
meeting's always
spring
at
meeting's
chair.
always in the chairs, so.
Yeah, that's why I was in Worth last year.
Right,
The
right,
King and
because
Queen the
of,
year before.
yeah.
On a couple of these, I'm wondering if we're going to be having the events, and if we're not, then do we need to renew the new? We do that in August. Do we think we'll be doing that this year?
Yeah, that's true.
Golly day, I don't know.
That's kind of like a, I don't know, this goes back, I keep beating my same drum. I'm just fearful cutting things or counting on it. We just simply don't know, and if it doesn't, then we got it.
What I'm thinking on this category, is all the way up and down. That's why I was asking what was by form, anything that's not on the
Right.
formula, go back to last year's numbers.
Right,
Would not cut them totally out, but just go back to next year's numbers of last year, or the current year, I'd say last year. Go to the current year numbers and then see what,
Keep.
but I don't know which one, how many of them are by a formula we have to go by.
If they're not, I agree, I think. But they don't look like many of them really even had an increase.
no, we really didn't. I mean, I think we've, you know,
What about county fair? Leave it because we, in case they hold it?
That'd
When
be-
will we be making that decision?
That would be one, okay, I believe there.
yeah, I mean, at this point, yeah,
That's, go up a couple more, Cindy, right there. Is that gonna change?
for drug court.
Have we heard anything?
Depends on the number of participants,
Right.
unfortunately.
Talking because of the
Right.
General Assembly change.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you
I've
guys-
wondered too about just the payment back into it. At what point does that start funding itself?
They're paying rent,
Trickle.
Right,
it's on
Trickle,
trickle,
yeah.
but people are.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not in favor, by no means,
But that's a potential.
doing away with it, but if
If it is done away with.
if there's chatter, I didn't know if you
I have not
you
heard
all
anything.
heard anything.
I haven't heard anything, and I'm on the committee.
Well, and another thing that's gonna play in, they're gonna put another line there, is that they get that middle court going,
Mhm.
just like
It'll
the
be
drug.
another one,
That's gonna
right.
be another one. that
There'll be
goes-
another line
That'll be
Yeah,
another
it'll
line.
be another line,
dedicated to the
but
setup.
again, that's saving us money at the
Yeah, I would consider
front end and,
Oh, yeah.
I would consider those pretty essential.
and the back end.
Well, it's- Those roots run deep, you
And,
know.
and the tourism development, if we went back to last year, that's.
It's the same.
26.5, but isn't that formula driven? and it's
By
how much
what we collected this year.
I
So,
would, phew.
yeah,
We may need to drop both the revenue and the, both sides of that. It wouldn't affect our bottom line, but that's probably something before we pass the budget.
well, it would affect it if we collect 100 and we're only putting in 60 as opposed
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that we need to.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the Tourism Development Council, how much we're actually expected to collect this year, so we'll know what we need to fund for next year.
But that would be revenue and, it's not really gonna help our bottom line, but,
Right.
It would help a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
If you left it the same as what you were doing this year, so.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was talking about, was anything that's not formula driven or like that, just put it in at whatever the current year's is. Carry it
I mean,
into
for
the
example,
next
that
and
one-
see how it, what it does.
that one, if we see a 10% drop, we'd drop the,
We'd have to.
we'd have to, which, but it's still, if we appropriate it, then it's appropriated.
There
Right.
you go.
Right.
And I'd almost go ahead and drop it a little bit on both the revenue and the expenditures, because I don't see how in the world, that's driven exclusively by lodging, and I don't know
Yep,
how
by
in the world our
tots.
lodging is gonna be.
Yep.
There's no way our lodging's gonna be
Anywhere near.
anywhere.
Nope. Friday nights,
Because I've talked to some Airbnb people that say it's just nothing.
nothing.
And that's a good thing, really. I mean, we don't necessarily want people traveling over there.
Right.
Right. Well, and I don't think the hotel's been that busy either, or it hasn't looked it when I've been by anyway.
No, it has not.
But it helps us in the long run. Helps, I mean, it hurts them financially.
Right.
It may
Well, I
solve
mean,
us some problems.
We have about 5,000 or 10,000, I think, in flexibility on the tourism budget.
Okay.
That's used for marketing.
Right.
What that would do is just limit our marketing. It wouldn't necessarily,
Correct. And we've saved on marketing up until now.
I mean, it's not much that we get to spend on it, but that's
No.
our flexibility.
Right.
And if nothing's open and nothing going on, there's not a lot to market either.
Yeah, right. You don't want
Yeah, it's right in there.
Right. Yeah, we actually have talked
Come
about
on.
that, like, we don't want to advertise.
Transient occupancy, nope, down, 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 down. Whoop, 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 whoop. Right
There.
there.
People that know issues like that when they play Pac-Man.
Yeah, I did that in my day.
I did too.
So,
And we put in 60%, is that the formula?
yep,
So if we took off 10,000, we'd take off 6 on the other side?
yep.
I wonder if that wouldn't be a good first step to do, is
Just to balance ahead of time.
just to give us a little bit of, we know it's gonna be some impact.
Yeah, there will be, absolutely.
I think it's.
Because I think that the Tourism Council needs to know that there's upfront that, otherwise, when we do a budget, it's gonna be,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Send them that.
We hope there's more money, but,
Right, we do.
and that's an amount that we could absorb. It would be very
Right.
little marketing money, but I just don't see us. I honestly see the tourism role next year as promoting local people to come
Yeah.
spend money locally.
Locally.
More than trying to come get
The
somebody from Raleigh to
state,
come.
the state is doing, we're waiting for you kind of thing, you
Right.
know?
But I'm-
We'll be open, we'll be there, we're waiting for you, but Pat's been, right now, just helping to promote online shopping
Yeah.
for local businesses. And, you know, funneling their stores through us, so she is really, and her, right now, she's looking at folks that are trying to spend stuff on Mother's Day, to spend their money locally. So that'll be good. Because that'll help our sales tax.
For Blue Ridge Heritage, should we just use last year's number of 1,000?
It's 2,500.
Yeah, 2,500
Yeah,
this
so I
year.
thought-
1,000 goes back to 18.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
I'd go for
Well, that-
500.
Last time we talked about it, you had 3,500, 1,500, and 0. And that's when we left it, and we never come back to
Yeah.
it.
Oh, man. Friends of Southwest Virginia, they're like around the mountain.
Right?
They did some requests this year, I guess. I know last year they had it.
Well, we cut it,
We finally did get one.
Okay.
we cut it pretty hefty.
From the request.
Yeah.
I just remember last year, we didn't even get a request from.
Right.
Wait a minute, is that around the mountain or Crooked Road?
They're all combined.
Yeah, they're all
They're
together.
all combined now?
Yeah.
Really?
Friends of Southwest Virginia.
Yep.
Well, can I unhighlight access to community college, because they haven't requested anything?
They haven't?
Uh-uh.
So ACE has not requested anything.
The last I heard, they're still hoping to get a grant.
And I would
Not a
think-
grant, but the
Right.
tobacco commission money.
Yeah, that's probably a,
Mountain View Humane would be the same way.
Yeah.
Starting new programs right now,
nope,
in my opinion.
yep. Fairview,
Terry, what do you think of the Renew the New? We talked about it a little bit.
yeah, when you were out. Justin feels like he'd hate to, you know, I don't need to talk for you, but your comment was
He just
not,
asked about it.
yeah, like a placeholder still, leave it there.
It's entirely up to you all. Want to do it or not?
I mean, have they had some conversations at all about it yet, or is it too early to?
We're starting a little bit. We have a meeting, watershed roundtable is next week, I believe.
So they're expecting to go forward with it, I guess.
So we leave.
Yep, I agree.
The main reason I was wondering is this, you know, if there had been some talk about, let's skip a year, then
Right,
we'd
we could skip a
skip
year.
a year.
Just to give you a little bit of update on the ACE program,
Uh-huh,
you know, the community service, the only organization right now that's allowing volunteers is Plenty, only if people are 18 years or older, which limits a lot of our
Yeah.
students. So we're just kind of waiting to see when everything's lifted, talking about either cutting back on the number of hours they're required to do for
Yeah.
this fall, or waiving them completely, depending on how long all this goes.
absolutely. I'm glad to hear
Well,
that.
the Renew the New would be a good
Yeah.
opportunity for them.
Yeah,
Except we have to have the hours certified through
Right.
the community college before Renew the New happens.
Oh, right.
I wonder if they'd extend it just based on the,
I have to put it into people's accounts.
yeah.
right.
But anyway, we're either talking about possibly reducing hours or waiving hours for the fall semester?
Well, there's talk that Tech may not bring students back
They may do it all online.
and do it all online.
Wow.
I'll tell you what, this whole thing is gonna change the economy, it's gonna change the way we look at doing things.
Well, that's kind of why
It's gonna jump us forward in some ways and backwards in others.
yeah,
Well, and I really look at Radford possibly to follow suit.
I would think so.
And then I don't know how much New River's able to do online, but.
I saw that VCU is anticipating a $50 million shortfall.
Well, our budget don't look as bad now.
That's Virginia Commonwealth University, though.
We're not that far away.
Kevin Bird told me today that the colleges are going to wait till June to make their decisions about opening.
On,
What is
no,
that in green? What is that?
The Children's Trust and Historical Society?
Yeah.
I don't know why the Children's Trust is, because it's always that same amount.
Yeah,
Well, and the Historical Society is the same
No,
amount too.
okay, yeah, it was.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Should I go ahead and green that?
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Well, from the moment anyway, yeah.
Well, the Historical Society, we had that highlighted because they asked for 5.
We were talking about going back and looking at that.
Yeah. Right, that's not happening.
The, back
As much
to
as
the
how-
new again. We did see an increase there. Is that, could we go back to the 20 level?
Well, that's what I just looked up. We had spent a little over 3,000.
Okay, so that's the
last
actual
year.
number.
Because we had more,
We had a big turnout.
yeah, we had more people.
We did, but
We
the
got
biggest
just-
part of that is paying Mr. Sowers for use of all his equipment.
Yeah.
Because we just feel like that's
Yeah,
fair because we're.
Absolutely.
I would love to-
Stuff all day long.
If the river's up enough, which is a big unknown that time of year, but I would love to do some higher up, like from 221 down.
yeah.
'Cause you can get a kayak, well, when I was a kid, we would kayak up, canoe that a lot.
Well, even if we went from,
Two left on that.
because where are we going from now? Just, are we going all the way up to 615? Not really, are we?
No.
See, if we could go,
It's in
if we could go 615 down,
We did the first year.
Yeah.
We went all the way.
yeah, and there's still stuff, because that's
I mean,
the,
you could
that's
go
where
to
I
my house
kayak a
down.
lot, and there's still a lot of trash, huh?
My house.
Yeah, let's go to your, yeah, the trickle.
I think my father-in-law tried that one time. He said, boy, you wouldn't believe the amount of barbed wire fences we went through.
Oh, I bet.
Drug us to it.
I bet.
Golly day.
Yeah, the two highlighted ones, I just, hard to find it in my heart to spend money on.
Yep,
But that's just me.
that's kind of where I'm at. So you got 2 for unhighlighting and,
That Fairview nursing, I'd hate to see that completely took out, but if you cut it in half, the subject,
maybe make it, what, 25?
yeah. Because I'm afraid if we cut it out, it'd never come back.
I would go with that.
Did you all cut the Center for the Arts? Did you do that one back?
We left it at 9 because we had 4,500 coming in as revenue, and then we had to show that plus the match, right? So it'd be 9.
Well,
45, we're showing 4,500.
4,500 for the match, but yeah, it's just if you all wanted to make a contribution above that.
But there's 45, the match is being shown on the revenue side, so that's, the 9 is
With
the
the,
match
It's the
and.
match and
And-
extra.
Yeah, that's what I was confused about,
Yeah.
based off what you said.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do any more than what the match is.
So the match is
But the
45.
revenue, seems like if the revenue's coming in to us, which it does,
Right.
So that's the 45, and then we have to
Our
show the
portion is the
expenditures
other
for that
45,
45 plus
which is
our portion for 9.
None.
Right, that's what.
Okay,
Right.
that's how we got it.
That
That's how we
balance.
got it.
Right, that back, yeah, that's how I understood
It
it.
shows. You're-
So if we take away from that, then it's gonna lose it.
It loses the match.
So trash truck is absolutely, absolutely, absolutely,
We done on 28.
no?
We started
We're
too
still-
high later.
Oh, yeah, right.
We're looking down that direction of the table to see what happens. I'm just hanging out, you know. Well, we spoke our minds.
Yeah?
I think I know where Jerry's at.
I've more than spoke my mind in previous
Yeah,
meetings.
I don't want to run my mouth about it anymore.
Oh,
No pressure, but.
I'm good with both of them. I thought,
You go with what?
Blue Ridge Heritage and the nursing home. Nursing home, we have, what, at least one participant from the county.
I think there's 3.
Yes.
3 now.
So I want to do our part there, so I can go with the 25. And the Heritage, I mean, to me, that's no, if you're going to cut it, then we need to look at cutting some of the other programs, the arts programs and things. So I'm good with 25 on it if we're going to go back to last year.
And where are you gonna cut on the arts?
That's what I'm saying. If we're
So
gonna-
what are you gonna cut?
That's what I'm saying. We have to
Okay.
make a decision.
She's taking you up on the offer.
So I'm taking you up on the offer. Where do you wanna cut,
Well, then
Justin?
If we're gonna cut that, we need, they're both in the same relatively based
wheelhouse.
of historical type things for our community, so if we're gonna leave one, we gotta look at the other.
So which one? Floyd Center for the Arts? Or Round the Mountain?
Well, you're wanting to zero Blue Ridge Heritage.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, well then we need to look at cutting or zeroing the Floyd Arts,
The Floyd Center for the Arts.
in my opinion.
No, Floyd Center for the Arts has done so much more for this community. They have a historical record. They're just a much,
I haven't seen any information on them.
have you
I
ever been
seen-
in there?
I have seen information from the Blue Ridge Heritage.
Have you ever been into the Floyd Center for the Arts? Have you
I
ever
haven't
been to
been.
the Jacksonville Center?
Are we gonna talk about the funding aspect of it? or-
Have you ever been there?
I haven't been to either one,
Okay.
so. To me, it's about funding. If you're gonna cut one,
$1,000.
I'd be interested in what Joe, your position's 2,500, right?
yeah, I'm good with going back
Well,
to,
Yeah, I'm good with going back to 25, you know. I mean, we don't,
I'm okay with 25.
Well, you got 3.
We're going in circles for now?
Yep, that's right. Went in circles for nothing.
that's another page.
Yep.
We'll look at it next year.
The one that I saw that we went up on was American Legion, and
We
more
decided,
than anything, that's one I'd like to
Yeah.
keep an increase.
I'd even give it more,
I think that's-
but we're not gonna do that.
Well, if we're gonna not start new programs.
Yeah, but I do think of all the ones that
Yep,
we saw an increase on, that's the one I really support.
agreed.
I think it's definitely.
when I count Cindy, where we down to?
51,000.
What up?
Yep, we were at 49,
886.
so we were at 47, and now we're up to 51.
Well, we added. a
I know,
couple things
I know,
into the fund.
I know.
You undecided.
Right.
What about the box addition? Is it calculated in any of this? That they were talking about putting a new box on any of them, or one of them lands? It's not on this. Good. Good and bad.
What would happen if we're talking about getting a loan for 3 vehicles, basically?
trash truck, ambulance,
Fire truck.
fire truck.
What if we delayed that and did it 6 months from now and took only half that payment in that budget? Because, especially on the fire truck, I mean, that's gonna be this time next year before we
Mm-hmm.
will even, it's almost a 2-year process by the time they spec it and bid it and then,
Yep.
I just wonder if we told people, you're gonna get one, but you can't go to bid until,
And that's kind of what I was talking about, using a placeholder budget.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
approve things, but you don't
Right.
do anything
Yeah.
right now.
Well, that would put, if you hold it off to.
I mean, you'd pay for it the next year.
Oh, yeah, but in this budget, that would, any expense, we put it off for half, like you were talking about.
Right, I just wonder if that would get us to 0.
To get us beyond 0.
I think it would, if we did that on the trash truck, the ambulance, and the fire truck.
I don't know.
Then we go down to
You're still
57
gonna-
cents.
You're still gonna go next year having to come up with that money.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of putting you in a bind down the line.
Well, the following year, yeah. What would that do to the debt service payment on those three?
What do we have in there, 200?
We have,
Well, you got
We have
school
a-
on it too, though.
we have 125,000 for the ambulance, trash truck, and fire. Those three things, 125.
So if you,
Are we gonna actually have a fire truck that we need to write a check for in this current budget year coming up?
It would be really late in the year,
if we did,
because it does take about a year to
I
inspect.
remember the last time, it takes about a year to do it. I just
Yeah.
wonder if that would, you could start the process in
December.
like December and have it
Mm-hmm.
on the next year's
kick
budget.
in the next year.
Take actually delivered or take a check, huh?
Or even if we started at, July 1, it
Right.
would still be in.
Because I know the last time that we
Next
did fire
year's.
trucks, Kevin laid out a schedule and it said, you can do this now, and
Right.
then in this many months is when you can do the next step. So it was actually good because it gave, all right, you got 6 months to talk about your specs, what you're gonna, rather than saying, have your specs ready in 2 months, it gave people time to, kind of digest that, talk about it, talk to different manufacturers. Because I want the process to start. I'm just thinking, how do you, the actual payment,
Well, even if they started it now, it'd probably be June next year before we pay for it.
right.
Right.
If you set a, go to bid in January, well, it's still gonna take them 3 or 4 months to build it after you accept the bid.
And that would kick it into the following January.
Correct.
It would hit us the next budget year, I'm just saying,
Wouldn't we better served to leave it and going into next year being prepared for it instead of,
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying there's options there if you're trying to balance this, but if we think our sales tax numbers are gonna get hit and then maybe come back.
But what if
I'm just trying to-
this virus comes back, like CDC is saying, hot and heavy for October through April
Great
again?
thing.
And then everybody's staying home, there's no sales tax, I mean, that's what I'm saying, austerity.
But it could be on the other side too.
It could be.
Everybody's healthy,
if you just don't.
buying all kinds of stuff.
Yup, could be.
I had another thing that popped in my mind, if you can answer the question for me. This bin construction, the recycling bins, is that one? How many is that for 8,000?
Isn't that one?
That's a good point, because who knows when we're gonna actually put them back out again.
And if we do, that's gonna cost, look at how much it costs to move them all. Put it back, we'd be better served to wait a year. It's not really as essential if we're trying to look at essential things.
There's a couple that I wouldn't mind seeing replaced while they're,
Yeah, that's what Cheryl was
I
talking
still
about.
need one at 6:15.
Much less replacing, you want one the first time.
Yeah, I just want one.
It was pretty expensive to get those moved back.
Oh.
Yeah. With the manpower and everything else,
Since we had to hire somebody to do it.
Mm.
Mhm.
Not Copper Hill, I was sure that one was getting so bad, you know, they would close the doors. We painted it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was gonna try to work on some of them while they were over there.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to know if they're in a shape where he thinks we can get by another year and hear from them personally.
Have we built some this year, in this current year's budget?
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One, I think.
Thought it was two.
Thought it was two.
Is it two?
I thought so.
I believe so.
I didn't get one.
Just a thought, just thinking.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's money. And the other thing is what I said earlier, I'm not sure that we couldn't go through and cut 5% out of our gas budget in every department. I can't imagine it's gonna go
I
through
can't
the
either.
roof over the next few months.
No. Not with the glut.
It'll take a while to work it through the system.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know the numbers, the difference between 5 and 10, and then look at it and say, well, if it does, can we absorb it
Right.
At
Yeah,
5.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
at 5 or 10?
Yeah. We
Mhm.
did that one year, when it went down a little bit.
Yeah, we
It was
did.
a number of
It's
years
just
ago.
It was before you two were back, and we took the gamble and it paid off. But this is not, I mean,
We looked at, we did stuff like that back in, when we were in the big band.
Yeah. it's hard.
Best I can remember, one year it paid off, one year it didn't.
Yeah.
You know, it's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
I want us to do that while y'all take a
I'd like
minute
a break.
break.
I'd be interested to know the difference between 5 and 10 and say, you know, we could probably absorb this if it did. If we
I mean, I would feel more comfortable with 5
What
just
do you think
because.
about 5?
I would too.
5 or 10%.
5% or 10%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those two numbers independent.
I feel better
School-
with just
school
5.
budget's a big one though, fuel probably,
Yeah.
more than anything.
I'm like, Linda, 5 seems more, if you think of EMS. and fire
Yeah.
trucks.
Yeah.
Well, and when they open back up, it's gonna be a big play on that.
No.
5%, that'd probably be a pretty good piece of money.
The sheriff's office is, what, 50 grand or something in fuel?
We could look at waste.
Waste is about 50, I think, 45.
And I'll give you a little update too. When the sheriff just called, he said he thought there was like 88 vehicles that came through for the testing. He said, but a lot of the vehicles, or not a lot, but several had 3 and 4 people in that were getting tested. So
Okay. Wow, that's
everything had gone really well.
Okay, good.
No disruptions or nobody showing up who wasn't supposed to.
We ended up getting extra lunches for the folks that were working there and stuff. Not people coming through.
Right.
Folks working.
Workers.
glad they had the ability to test, that's just.
Yep,
Are
absolutely.
there, do you know if there's gonna be tests in other, like Pulaski and Blacksburg still? Is that-
Again,
Well, they've already had one in Pulaski
Right.
at the fairgrounds.
and they had one in Blacksburg,
They've had 2 sites in Blacksburg.
right?
But going forward, are they gonna be open again, or that, do you know how
They
that's?
haven't done one in Giles. I feel like they will at some
Maybe
point.
do
Yeah, that'll be the next.
I hadn't got to be on the last
Probably,
2
probably.
managers' calls.
But I mean, they're gonna continue to have them,
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
I feel like they'll put one back in Blacksburg and one in Giles. Because Blacksburg is centrally located where they headed.
Right.
I'm glad we were able to
Yep.
provide that today.
How many people did they feel like came through?
We, Kevin said as of last night, there was over 90 registered. You know, may have had more since then.
About our break time. About our break time.
Yeah, and stay, going to take
They say it twice.
Yeah. Right for the door.
10%
Hold on,
is
Cindy.
38,460.
Wait till she comes on that way. That revenue moves.
Well, that's.
Yeah, we up and
I'll get back in front of you. You
Uh,
remember that now.
With the 5% cut in gas prices, it would be 45,151. With a 10% cut, it would be 38,416.
All right,
40 what?
For a 5% decrease in gas prices,
Is,
with 45,151 expenditures over revenue.
45.
A 10% decrease in gas prices is 38,416.
so it's not 7, give or take.
Yes,
Different.
yes.
I don't know. I'd be rather fiscally conservative and just go with 5. That's just my feeling.
I agree.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would agree.
Now, that's on our side of the budget,
That's not school.
that's not been doing
That's
anything
not
on the
doing
school
the school.
side.
Right.
I think that's, I think 5%
That's
is reasonable
reasonable.
to expect. I don't think that, it's not a lot of money, but every little bit adds up.
Yep.
I can do with 5.
Just, you know, we'll have to watch that next year. We probably can't level fund it next year
Right.
if the oil prices go back up. I mean, it's hard to say.
Oh, they're gonna go back up, that's a big factor about it.
You don't think it'll be negative 30-something forever?
That's the big push behind getting everything opened back up and people moving.
That's the reason I wish we was in a position where we could stockpile some.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Well, we could buy some tanks, but it's gonna send that number the wrong direction.
That's what I get, I said, you're
I don't think we'd save enough.
We ain't got no cage for them, we.
Stockpile 5 gallon bucket.
We left the roof replacement in, or did we take it out?
We cut it down to
We
the
cut it
20.
that way.
Yeah, to the plan.
Back on that debt service.
My memory is great.
What you were talking about, Lauren,
Well, we've been going through a
on
lot of
that
stuff.
debt service right there?
Yeah. I think you said 125.
You said it was 125.
For
The
the,
ambulance trash truck. and fire
If
Right.
if we hold that until January or whatever,
Right.
I know what it does down the road, but that helps us in what we're doing here.
yeah, but it's, I mean, I'd just as soon move it to next year. I don't know. It just seems like we're robbing Peter to pay Paul.
That's what I was thinking about.
Well, if we move the whole thing to next year, we're really gonna be.
Well, I hear you, but
That's why
again,
I'm thinking if we do half.
austerity, austerity.
One other thing we haven't talked about is we increased 2 positions in EMS, one for an admin assistant and one for a paramedic.
Yeah.
Or, not a paramedic, it was an ALS, I believe. You hate to take those out because they might be needed more now than ever.
I work
But
for
that's
our
what-
guys, get
that is
sick,
one
and then
area
be
we-
that way.
That's the problem, if one of them that's there now gets exposed, you gonna need that.
Yeah, I can't see taking the ALS position away.
I
I thought maybe the
don't-
clerical.
but that is-
On the safety stuff, I don't think I'm inclined to cut.
What about the clerical stuff?
They have the clerical side.
The clerical.
Philip, when we originally talked to him, which of course was before
Right.
COVID-19 hit,
Right.
he was saying he desperately needed clerical help because it would allow people who were certified to get out there and run calls instead of having to be in the office
Doing their clerical.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's a hard one to pick.
Yes, it is.
What are we looking, one full-time position?
it was 2 full-time positions, one admin assistant and one, I think it was either BLS or ALS.
No, I'm talking about on the admin part, just the administrative.
Could that be a part-time position?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to go to. What if you had a part-time position in that?
EMS.
Mhm.
On
Clerical.
administrative. I mean, would, what?
And if things all of a sudden came back, maybe you
What's-
could make it full-time.
What's the maximum on part-time? Is
Less
no
than
more-
30 hours a
That's
week.
what I
So
was thinking.
20
I'm
hours,
thinking
29.
Would 29 hours do what he needs done?
I think anything.
I was gonna say-
I know it's a deal, but I'm just asking,
5.5 hours a day?
or whatever.
I mean, that's what it would,
2 or 3 days a week.
yeah, or 2 or 3 days a
full days,
week.
3 or
Right.
whatever. What would that, if we changed that to the part-time based on what our part-time scale is, what would that do?
Save us.
A little bit.
Cut it in half, probably.
Want me to put it in half, or should I do it like 2/3?
What have we got it at?
26.6. It'd be 13.3 and a half, and what, 17 would be 2/3.
She's calculating.
75 an hour, so that's, I don't know, payroll anymore. I don't know. What do we pay, like,
I put this as a grade 9, step 1.
no, I'm asking, like, what do we pay, like,
Part-time.
part-time clerical folks, like the 80s?
$10 an hour.
10 to 12.
Yeah.
something.
So that's in line.
Mhm.
So what is that at 12.75? That's 13.3?
Mm.
Be pretty close.
14.3.
13.3.
13.3.
Sounds good to me.
Take the benefits out, did you take the benefits out?
Oh, okay.
Right.
That'll help a little.
Yeah. And I mean, if we can see our way through, if in December all of a sudden, you know, we can tell Philip, look, things are back on, we're rolling, you'll look to make it a full-time position,
Well,
unless
we
the
can-
part-time,
See if it really helps him too.
right,
If it needs to be a full-time.
yeah, part-time may give us what we need.
It's a good trial period. You might
Absolutely.
have some ideas on what to do.
24.96, huh?
I think he'd be thankful for any help.
Well, that's adding another position.
Yep.
All that
Yeah.
call coverage as well.
Yeah.
Survey,
$20,496.
this is using 5% gas, 5% reduction in gas
Yeah,
costs.
it's
Great.
Can't go anywhere for one day a month.
all right. Well, I guess it would offset, if the state's not gonna do those one-time bonuses, and that was pretty much what it was gonna be all the way across the board for their state employees, a one-time bonus, not any percentage increase.
That's what we understood.
So that's not necessarily gonna change their number then if they wait till January anyway to do it.
I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. Is there any way that we can at all feasibly take half of that parking lot money out?
Now, one thing I was gonna suggest, we had bumped contingency up a whole lot this year. The way this year has been. Gamble with that a little bit.
Do you know what our actual's been so far? I'm sorry, I already remember.
Not off the top of my head, no.
I don't either. If I was leaving after I was later.
Anything about contingency if we have to end up making up something?
Gosh, I would
for
hate
fuel,
to, yeah, seriously, I really don't want to touch
Especially right.
with this. Yeah, I can't see, I want to cut elsewhere rather than that fund.
At the end of March, we have 50,000 left. So we've got some things we know are coming out.
Yeah, no, I would
Of
not.
course, we have spent a lot due to this too.
But leave that 30 there.
But then I would want to leave that 3 there.
That big hit to CSA is what got it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, Lord only knows what's going to happen in that category.
Well, that's what I was,
If you went to 280, it's still an 80,000 increase over this year.
Yeah.
But still,
275 or,
no, I would want to leave it at 3. I think there's just too many unknowns.
for right
of course, you have money in your budget stabilization fund, you can
Mm-hmm.
use as a placeholder too.
Yeah, but I'd rather not.
I know, I'm just
I know,
saying.
I know.
And nobody like my parking lot down here.
Well, if, I mean, 25,000, if we do what we can for 25, maybe fix the back and just, is that
Without
kind of what
just-
you're saying?
No, I don't want to just say, I wouldn't want to just throw money away. If there's things that we can do to still move us forward, but maybe not have cost that much money. You know what I mean? Is there draining that could be done? And we could afford that and save some money and then pay it to next year. See what I'm saying? Instead of maybe doing it all right now. I don't remember what we talked about. It's been so long, to be honest with you.
Well, that we,
Well,
didn't we put that off from last year?
We did.
Mark,
Yeah.
you know, we did some work on it, Mark's looked at it,
There's been some patching.
some stuff, and
I just,
cleaned up some drainage, cut some trees.
I mean, with constitutional officers, most of theirs is just in their salary anticipation. I mean, they've done a wonderful job of trying to hold it.
As always.
Yep. And I still say that electoral board may come back with state mandates that are unfunded that we're gonna have to do. Isn't that correct?
I mean, we have nothing in there for, you know, there was security requirements.
Yeah. Do we have the latest? Or they're coming to talk to us, right?
They're coming
Tuesday, right?
that's so new. I wonder if we'll have anything yet.
I'm sorry.
That's so new, all those changes. I wonder if they'll have anything.
I think they're gonna have an idea.
You would hope.
The new GSI system in building inspections, is that an absolute?
That was to replace his,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what was done. Is that,
iPad.
Right,
it's to replace that, because it was so out of date.
okay.
But is it still doing the job?
Not really.
Affects
I
911
remember
service.
now.
Right. That affects 911 service.
Yeah.
So you need to be careful with
That's what he
that.
does.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Oh,
it
address.
started
Gotcha.
coming- After I
Gotcha.
asked it, it started coming back to me,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Right.
I was just looking.
He goes out and marks the
Yeah,
data
right.
point.
Yep.
Crimes down, what my ammo was,
I can't answer that question.
and you shouldn't.
No, sir.
Gravel shooters. Slingshot.
You won't need as much. That's what I call it.
Oh, Mark.
We don't figure out on your discussion on the parking lot, didn't you?
I'm still waiting. Nobody wants to. I mean, I understand, but I just, it's the right time to be paving the parking lot.
They're still open. It's-
No.
Oh, no, but still,
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
when they do, they'll be wide open again.
It's not, it's the back part,
Right.
not the whole thing.
Well, we'll be taking whole.
Right, yeah.
And that's one of the ones that I anticipate when they open up, they will be.
Very busy.
Folks have been missing them, that's for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that.
That genealogy department's been the best thing that's ever added
Mhm.
down there, I think.
Yeah. Yep, everybody loves that.
It is really nice.
We're not talking about their services, just.
No, but it's
No.
repair and maintenance, and certain repairs and maintenance have to be done. I mean, it's what we have to do for our buildings.
Yeah, we're cutting on our buildings too, so.
Are we? I'd like to see, I mean, why don't we, I mean, I really feel like we're in austerity mode right now. That is how I'm looking at this budget. And, you know, library, I mean, we can look at the library's budget, but that's a building and grounds maintenance on a building that we own.
Just like we do the building for the trash truck and we cut the roof back on it.
We asked everybody to cut their budgets by a certain percentage. I mean, you can see what you could get for 12.5 on a parking lot. Let's see what we could do to maybe make it a little better. We continue to Band-Aid for another year.
As long as it's not, like I said earlier, you know, it's something that it's not just throwing it away, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I
If
get
it's-
you. Those
if
are
it's
where
ditching, like-
the employees park in the back for the most part.
Other than the meetings.
And there's community meetings.
There's a lot of traffic back there.
Yep.
I'd almost rather, if we weren't gonna do the whole amount, I would almost rather bump up what we could in the contingency and then get toward a certain point in the year and see if we had the money contingency to do it next spring.
That's a good idea.
I mean, then you may have the full amount of contingency. That's an unknown, but I mean, it would be.
Unfortunately,
It'd be an option.
I'm not sure what contingency is going to be. I think we're going to need contingency for other things.
We've done that with other projects before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talked about it for a few different things among this budget.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a, I think we did that for the parking lot back here one year, didn't we? Is that the way we did that, or was that another project? I can't remember.
Right there at the courthouse.
Maybe it was the
There was a project
courthouse.
somewhere that we did, it might not have been paving, but we did.
You know,
toward
had
the
a
end
big
of the year.
sinkhole or something up there at the courthouse.
I think some of that came out of contingency one year that we,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I think the work on the extension building came out of
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have.
Under the environmental fund, you got contract hauling and tipping fees going from 500 to 550. Is that based on the hauling increases on the waste?
It's just extra hauling, yeah. They haven't raised the rates.
Well, now everything, more than likely, there's no, well, unfortunately, a lot of people that are not recycling now, since they can't take recycling, it's going into the waste stream, which is going to increase it.
Was.
At the green boxes I've seen. around
Oh my
education,
gosh.
Yeah.
Everybody has free time to clean out.
They do.
everything.
You got that right.
Holy moly. It's
Sure.
amazing.
Cheryl said he's gotten enough furniture over the last couple of weeks, he could open 5 furniture stores.
I guarantee it. I know.
I mean, every time I drive by, it's wondering
Oh,
how
I
they
know.
stack it up.
It is.
Like,
It's awful.
evidently, no one in this county can read. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just,
right.
I mean, it's amazing.
It is. Buffalo.
Sure, Ray.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
tell you what.
Where I'm going on that is that, do you think that's gonna be enough in that line item?
Well, so I was looking at what we've spent through March, 389,000. We had a budget of 500,000. So we've got 110 left.
For a quarter.
So I had added some to that, so
Yeah.
you could probably put that back down to 525 maybe.
I don't know.
Be close.
I don't know.
Well, no,
I'll bet this quarter's gonna be the biggest quarter. of the
It
year.
is.
that's what I'm figuring. That's why I was asking, because if that continues very long,
Yeah.
is that gonna be enough?
One of
Or
those.
is he doing it into that
Gamble.
contingency for waste hauling?
Maybe to get most of it cleaned up, now you'll start.
You won't have anything left to throw away.
Well, but if they got farms like me, they've inherited about 4 generations worth that
Well,
Yeah.
need to be cleaned.
I got one of my trailers tied up because Mary and Richard's been on a cleaning spree.
There you go.
Of course, I've been really good. I've been going up to the
Transfer.
transfer station.
That's what they're doing.
Because you can read.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Well, yeah, you did.
It's up to y'all if you want to gamble on it.
I
don't
wouldn't.
think so.
Nope.
I seen that up and I just got to thinking about the extra waste and not recycling.
Yeah, honestly, from like the waste that we have, I would say we've doubled the amount we're taking to the green box now that the recycling's not there. Just because, I mean, with glass and all that stuff.
I'm still trying to put it in a paper bag. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. I'm trying.
Now, given that, is there anything on the recycling side that we could reduce to not being reduce the recycling?
Well, we took out the,
But we're hoping
that.
that it will be back to recycling again by the time this budget.
And I'm sure there's plenty of people
Save
that
that.
Hoping, but
saving it, just like Linda's talking
Yep.
about, and it being responsible. And
Yeah.
saving it
we
up.
got so much room.
That's
That's-
true.
Oh, I
that's
got a
what ran
basement.
into. I've got enough stuff sitting around, I didn't need to collect it anymore.
I got my basement.
One of the biggest costs we're having is just getting rid of tires,
That's
Yeah.
what I was
It's
just
like
looking
that.
at.
multiplying out there.
But we don't ever have more than 999
No,
before
we
we
do
haul
not.
them, so.
Sometimes they get close to that number and we haul you off.
That is a lean budget though, my goodness. I mean, it really is. Other than the,
What about on the monitoring cost? Have we seen any much change in, anticipate any change in that in the next budget year? I know we got a reduction in the methane finally after 30
I don't know if I
years.
want to mess with that one either.
I'm just trying to.
I know, but my gosh, every time we think we're doing, every time we think we're okay, they slap us with something.
Well, we got a budget of 80,000 this year, we spent 58,000.
Say there might be a little room there.
A little bit.
Not much.
That isn't much, not when they come at you.
Every quarter,
So we still got this quarter.
it's usually $6,000 to $7,000
That's what
pop
I
in.
was thinking.
Cut 5 out of it.
Take 10, yeah.
That's why I was wondering if we could get by with 10 there. I mean, if they throw something at us, more likely won't throw something at that 10's not gonna cover anyway. Or that's the way they usually
Thanks for
do
the
it.
optimism.
Yeah, so
Oh, I'm
why
very
take it out?
optimistic on
So
that
why
one.
take it out?
I've been dealing with them rascals
I don't know.
for years.
Yeah.
Do you think, you comfortable with that?
Comfortable might not be the right.
Yeah, I'm
That
not.
may not be the right word, but can we live with it for the moment?
Accepting reality.
Yeah. I wouldn't, but I think you've got 3.
Well, we've got about 10 minutes to find another $10,000.
$1,000 a minute.
Sure looks better than giving restorative, but
I'd almost want some time to digest some of this anyway.
Yeah,
Have another meeting at some point maybe.
quick.
thought we had talked about doing one before or not.
Yeah.
I don't know, I wouldn't,
Was,
sorry, I wouldn't
we
go
might
on
pretty well finalize everything at our next meeting, meet the deadline.
If that's the case, then we need to meet early.
I mean, the elephant in the room is the school project, I think. I mean, that's, for me, is the big question on how we get forward with that. Because that's going to impact how we set the tax rate.
Well, did you double check on that? Was it 15 years?
I did not, yeah.
One thing I was thinking of was on the school project. The 3 cents is predicated on probably about a 15-year loan. We could kick that out for the time being, or those payments would come down. We need less pennies to make those payments right now, with the full intention of down 2 years from now refinancing and seeing.
I don't know, you're going to get better rates in 2 years, so it may be that you refinance at a higher rate.
Well, I'm not above kicking that thing out to 20 years if that brings it down.
If that
Depends on what the payback is.
Yeah,
If the banks will do it.
if the banks will do
And if
it.
they'll do it.
The one thing I worry about with our school system, though, is if whatever we take on this time, it's going to be 15 years before we do another project.
Yep.
And with the age of the buildings, the longer we push that out to where we can do it before we do another project, does that mean, you know, is any Valley and Check's roof going to be gone in 15 years and we say, sorry, we've got to wait another 5 before we can afford it? Because, you know, I just worry about getting into too long the loans on that because of the age of the buildings. If we were dealing with new buildings, it
Yep.
is concerning to me.
Well, you can count on it, about every 10 years they do the roofs again. And that's still,
I'm
is
just
that
telling
still
you
the
about
norm?
example. I'm just saying the overall age.
Well, I know, I understand.
But you will have some things coming off, you know.
Right.
And see, that's the thing, there's some things
In
coming
4 or 5
off
years, it's going to get better.
That,
But then we'll have other things come up.
Correct.
that might normally get.
It's not, it's never easy.
There's some things coming off that might normally be left in the school budget for them to utilize the money. But we may have to do like we did in the past and say, look, this is coming off, it's coming back to the county.
Well, I don't plan on being here then, because I don't plan on running again, so that'll be the next person's.
Well, I understand, but I'm just saying,
I hate to push that off on them, but.
All right.
well, there wasn't nothing pushed off on you, was
I'm just,
it? That's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. I understand where you're coming from.
And that's what they
And-
did this year. I mean, they put it back to, you know,
Yeah.
what came off this year.
Right.
right.
And that's gonna have to happen for several years, no matter what. Could you, would it be all right if she talked to Davenport about that, got us some numbers to
I'm
potentially
always
look
interested
at?
in looking at numbers.
Yeah, I'll look at numbers.
I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm just trying to think of ways, I know
Listen
that,
to it.
like I said, I know the citizens that have contacted me and talked to me are very high on this school project, and they continue.
I really want to see it done.
Yeah, and if there's any way we.
I would even, personally, I think it's important enough that I'd even be willing to go back through and cut some more out of this budget if that's what it took to make it happen.
Well, that's what I'm anticipating. That's why I'm asking, if we went from 15 to 20, what would that do to it? What would we be looking at cutting?
Right.
I don't want, I mean, we've got a pretty bare bones budget outside of the capital expenses that we've done.
I don't know. I think people could cut their budgets.
I don't want
Could you look at, I'm sorry,
to, go ahead.
at the, that one can recycling bin, and then the parking lot to see if there's something we can do in stages there, because I just simply can't remember. I know we talked about it, if there was like, maybe we could do some drainage work or something now, that would still move us forward, but
And then we'll move the patch it.
yeah, and it would help some of the issue now, and
Right.
we would just pave it. You know, so I'm not saying
Sure.
scrap it, I'm just
Right.
saying, is there something we can do, like we've done with the other facilities, to, you know, mend and move forward, but it's still working for us.
Well, there's a lot of water
for the
that comes
future.
down through that hall.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
Even with what drainage and whatever's there, there's still a lot.
Just a lot of
One
stuff
of the
comes
biggest
down.
issues I see is just the dip in the back where water stands. I don't know if there's a way you could drain that somehow. You might be able to cut the pavement and just put a actual drain in.
Yeah, like a-
French type drain.
Yeah, right
system
through
with
the parking
grate.
lot. right,
Across
with the grade.
Last for several years until you could.
I mean, I
David?
wasn't ignoring you, I was just thinking if we,
No, that's-
8,000 for that one container, and if we could cut that in half, that gets
Yeah,
us to
that's
33,000.
33.
Sitting here thinking about it, I've seen a lot of parking lots.
That gets us to the good.
Yeah, that gets us to the good.
Drain there.
Honestly, the other thing that I've thought about there is, you know, the parking lot up at the new pharmacy where they've got the gravel in place. I don't know if it's sealed somehow, but
Oh, yeah.
there's more of those going in where it's like a drainable
Yeah.
surface actually in the, rather than asphalt where it runs off.
Right.
They have a design where it can be
Right.
drained in place a little bit.
Well, not only that, you don't have the constant issue of asphalt being
Right.
about.
That one, it has asphalt where the main driving, but the
That's
actual
right.
parking spots are drained.
Where
Drainable.
vehicles are sitting,
Where it's
flows
not
are
a lot-
not eating the asphalt.
Right.
Right.
I thought that was interesting
The
design.
parking area with the drain and gravel and then the center, yeah.
If you look at it when you drive by sometime, I'm sure you've seen it, but I mean.
It's always caught my attention, I
Yeah.
always
Yeah,
wanted to
it's
know.
kind of a cool
Actually-
thing. Yeah, it's a cool
That's
design.
actually smart.
Yeah, it
Well,
always caught my
in
attention.
Eastern Virginia, they're pushing it, because I've heard that some on our environmental committee that I'm on, in VACO, it's required, that a certain percentage of your parking lot has to drain
Be
in
that way?
place, essentially, where it's no runoff. So that's kind of the design is, you know, the main traffic areas are paved, and then you have some gravel areas that you park on.
That cuts down on the ENS's
Mhm.
Yeah.
expenses.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a thought. That with that back spot, you know, it's not as much traffic, maybe where employees park it.
Yeah.
It might work,
It'd probably
but anything like that
Probably
costs
costs
more.
more.
That's exactly what I was
But
thinking.
we'll go down there with
We'll
some
just make
jackhammers.
it
Anything like that's gonna cost more money.
Because it's not just a matter of digging asphalt up and putting gravel in.
Yeah, I don't know. It might just happen one day.
But if asphalt heats up and you fill a hole with gravel, eventually you'll have a gravel place.
What y'all wanna do, come in at 5 o'clock on the 28th?
Gosh, does that give us enough time?
Could be here at 5:30, and that's being superintendent, they'd be out for work. and be here.
5:30?
Maybe on the 28th.
That's when our next meeting is.
And then stay after if we still need more time?
Ever how long it take?
Get it done that night.
We need to.
Well, we have to, so they can do the advertisements and stuff.
Well, you may get your midnight meeting after all.
5:30?
If that's okay with y'all, I would appreciate
Yeah,
it.
it's fine.
Yep.
with me.
That'll be on the agenda you send out.
Yes.
So I'll remember it that way. I'm bad for, my memory is fading, but
Just right.
just do it. All right.
Because we don't have that bigger agenda so far, do
We've been out for closed sessions.
we? Yeah, I was looking at that, you know.
That won't take the 10 minutes.
We have him on the record, so that's a promise.
We have some influence on that. if we-
We do. If you put duct tape over my mouth, it won't take but about 10 or 15
I missed the
minutes.
last one. Was that, did my absence make it go a lot faster?
We'll use Gorilla
I
Tape.
don't know who the problem is.
Talking about memory, I can't even remember.
No, it didn't.
We'll use Gorilla Tape, it's better.
Gorilla tape, I'll blame you.
I'm putting that 11:30 as the final time at the end.
We got a coffee pot.
Yeah, we gotta go. Putting 11:30.
Well, we don't have to have the budget finished. We just have to have a tax rate.
I know, that's all right. Well, but,
I'm just saying, you can
Right.
still work on the budget
Right.
after the fact.
Sure. Right.
It's just setting the maximum tax rate to go to public hearing.
Chairman Truman, would you like a motion?
I was waiting for y'all to quit.
Uncle.
I'll make a motion to adjourn until 5:30 PM on February 20th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Roll. Everybody agrees to it.
Aye.
Yeah.
Consensus will work.
All right.